Hey Patreon, it's wonderful to be here. I thank you so much for being here. I'm really blessed by your presence. So this video is a follow-up on the Step Up Minuteman video, talking about, the guys that are going to be out there fighting, the gunslingers, the gunfighters, the warriors. And I talked about in that video how, no, not everybody can be in this role. Most people can't be in that role. Far more people are not suited to that role than are suited to that role. So this is talking about the other people. So a lot of people, I think, here, this probably may apply to you more. If you fit into the other role, great. Get your fitness on. Be ready to do the things. But if you're not, if you fall into the other category, these are some of the things that you can do and or be to support the cause. There are a lot of them. Some of the first ones is, how does an army fight? An army fights on its stomach. Yes. If an army is not fed, it doesn't fight. So, farmers, ranchers, people, producers, basically, people that produce the supplies that for this sake, army needs. We need gunfighters, boots on the ground, need food. They need water. So, a support structure for those militants to be able to do the things that they do. They need a support structure of people that are going to help feed them, provide for them. They're kind of like the whole, like back in the, feudal days, there was a warrior class. And other people have talked about this too. I think Pastor Joe in Viking Preparedness mentioned it. The warrior class was taken care of and fed and things like that by the, at the time, peasant class. And I'm not calling you guys peasants. The people that support the warriors are not peasants. They're not any less. That was just back in that era, in the feudal system. That's the way they had it structured. But that's not true nowadays, obviously. But the warriors need the support of farmers, ranchers, lots of other things. We need people to be able to produce, to grow food, to have water supplies, water sources spread out over a large area, so that the people that are doing the fighting can be effective in whatever their area they're in. They need support in all the areas that they're going to be in, whether it's people smuggling food and supplies to them up into the mountains, or if it's somebody here going down into the valley and meeting up with somebody that provides them food or supplies, stuff like that. So what is another extremely vital role that somebody can play? I'll tell you what, an army can't do much without intelligence. Intelligence is vital. Along with that goes spies and infiltrators. People that either gather information from human intelligence, like by speaking to people, getting information out of them, making friends with the enemy, whatever it may be, getting information from them, or electronic warfare, finding out via internet and via computer systems, cell phones, all those kind of things, technology, finding out intelligence from those sources. Intelligence is key. The fighters, warriors, have to know what they're up against, or they're going to get into some bad situations and not come home, right? Okay, yeah, right. So they need to have intelligence on troop numbers, or enemy, I'll say enemy numbers, enemy supplies, enemy strengths, enemy weaknesses, enemy procedures, plans, their SOPs, their standard operating procedures, what they do, how they do it, where they go, when they go there, stuff like that, so they can be effective in fighting against those enemies. So intelligence is key. Having people in roles either embedded into the enemy structure, or just somebody that, is the friendly old face at the bar where the enemy goes to and, have a couple drinks and, start loosening their lips and talking. And the people that are gleaning information from them. I know one thing, very attractive females work very well in this role for gathering intelligence from warriors, from enemy. It doesn't have to be warriors, it can be anybody in this chain of command structure. It could be higher ups, it could be bureaucrats, it could be politicians, it could be whatever and whoever makes up the enemy structure. Also, just super friendly, good to know people, those kind of people, that kind of personality does really well in those situations gathering intel. Another vital one, extremely vital, is communications. Comms guys. All those ham radio operators out there and their ham nets. I'm not a comm expert. I rely on other people that are. Repeaters, ham networks, all those kind of things, to relay information and intelligence long distances, to coordinate groups, to coordinate actions, all those things. Obviously, you wouldn't be just talking about it on there. You'd have to have like one-time ciphers, code books, just stuff like that, so that you can not have the information captured in the intelligence by the enemy, so they don't know what you're doing. So there's protections on that. InfoSec, OPSEC, those kind of things. So comms is very important. Another thing is safe houses and lodging for warriors that maybe they get split up. They can't make it to their rally point. They can't make it to their FOB, their forward operating base, whatever their base of operations is, their guerrilla camp, whatever, insurgent camp, whatever you want to call it. So they need locals in the local communities that are sympathetic to their cause to provide them safe places to go. Along with that is medical. The warriors need safe places to go to receive medical care. So that's doctors, nurses, all the people in the medical field. You know what I'm talking about. But they also need a safe place to do that, where they can't just go to the hospital, can't just go to the local hospital. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But they need a safe place to go to get some rest, recuperate, or get fixed up. Safe houses and lodging is very important. You guys out there, you have a house, you live in it. Maybe you're not able to do much else. Maybe you're not a comms guy. Maybe you're not a medical guy. Maybe you're not a farmer. Just having a house and being sympathetic to others. Those people, though, I encourage right now to start going gray as you possibly can. If you think that might be something that you can offer in a really bad situation, if there's going to be warriors on either side and there's going to be chaos and conflict, two-way range type stuff, then go gray. If you have Trump signs and all this stuff like that out front in your front yard, well, it's probably already too late. But pull them off now if you want to fill this role. Because if not, you're going to be, everybody knows, if you continue that, they're going to know who you are. They're going to know where to go to look for sympathetic warriors. Or, if they know that an action happened and there's some wounded, they know which houses to go to look for people, because they know who will be sympathetic to their cause. So, go gray. Just a recommendation, if that's the role you think you might want to fill. What's another one? Medical, I talked about. Training camps. Okay, you're going to have people to run training camps. You're going to have older warriors, more experienced warriors, training the young bucks. There's going to be a lot of young guys and maybe gals if they want to fight. Because in this kind of situation, anything goes. Anybody that wants to fight and is capable to fight is probably going to be fighting. If it's a fight for our nation, darn right. It's going to be men and women. But the skill sets, training, knowledge bombs, we're going to have old people like, for example, Pastor Joe, Viking Preparedness. He's still fairly healthy and capable. He might actually be able to be doing some of the war fighting. He might still have some of that warrior call left in him. I don't know. He seems pretty, I mean, he's squared away. We know that. But he would be extremely, extremely vital in a trainer role. And with his experience in SF, Special Forces, that role fits him perfectly because that's what SF does. They go into countries, they meet up with foreign nationals, and they train them to become guerrilla warfare groups to fight against an insurgency campaign against whatever it is that we're trying to do away with. Whether it's an oppressive dictator, whether it's a communist regime, whatever. SF are the guys that go in there and train the warriors to fight against that. So people like him, and I'm not calling him old, he's probably still really capable. He could probably still kick my butt. I wouldn't put it past him. But people like that are a wealth of knowledge. And it doesn't matter if they've been out of the military for a while. They may not have the most absolute up-to-date information about warfighting. Because I'll tell you what, a lot of that up-to-date warfighting information is based on technology. Technologies we may not have as a revolutionary group, an insurgent group, a guerrilla group, militia, whatever you want to call it. So that may not be applicable anyway. People like him have those basic soldier skills that you can't learn but in the military, or it would be very difficult to learn not in the military. They know how to train. They can train good quality fighters. They don't have to have just got out of the Special Forces last week to be effective trainers. So don't disregard people like that. And any of you out there that are in that situation, make yourselves available. Be ready and willing to train the young people that are coming up that may not have any military experience but are more than willing to fight and have the physical capability to fight. So, training camps. Let me see. I talked about information warfare. I talked about it as far as like stealing information, but there's also information warfare that goes along with public relations. The whole winning hearts and minds thing, winning positive popular support. To be effective in a situation of guerrilla war, the side that wants to win needs support of the population. Like I said, those are the warriors. They need support, and the movement as a whole, the political arm of the movement, the public arm of the movement, the warfighter arm of the movement, the supply train, all the entire movement and force, whatever you want to call it, needs to have public support. Not everybody, of course not, but you need public support. So public relations, those organizations like the resistance movements in World War II and all over throughout time, the printing of leaflets, of newsletters, newspapers, magazines, whatever it is, as well as nowadays it'd be like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those kind of things. So we need people in those roles, kind of like what I'm doing here, but you may not have that ability in an event that we're talking about, a combative event or type situation. There would also be a very big need for transportation and or smuggling, depending on the situation, what it would be called. Transportation of goods, food, water, munitions, medical supplies, all those kind of things. Repair parts, there's a ton of different things. Clothing, gear, socks, boots, all the things that people need to be able to mount and continue an effective campaign. So those are very important. And supply or transportation may be truckers riding trucks down the road. It could be somebody in a minivan. It could be guys on bikes or horses, or even on foot carrying backpacks, human supply trains. It could take many different forms. So be aware of that. And and what role, as I'm listening to these roles, kind of take a mental note of which one, if you're not going to be the warrior, which one of these is most appealing. Pick 2 or 3 that you think I could be useful there, and then start improving yourself in those areas, or taking actions that'll make you more effective in those areas. Because like I've talked about before, I feel there's a fight coming. God forbid, I hope there isn't. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the relief valve doesn't lift. I hope the kettle doesn't boil over. Whatever you want to use to describe it. I hope that everything goes fine and we're able to fix ourselves without this. But I just have a feeling. You guys, I think a lot of you feel the same way. So also maintenance personnel and repair vehicles, equipment, firearms. You need gunsmiths. You need auto mechanics. You need, maybe you need water desalination technicians. Maybe you need people that fix wells. If a well pump breaks or goes down. A lot of different things. Electricians, mechanics. All different kinds of skills as far as maintenance of goods, of equipment, of military style equipment, all those kind of things, whether it be artillery that you capture, who knows, whatever it may be. We're going to need people to fill those roles. And I talked about spies and infiltrators also. That's where we're going to get most of our intelligence from, is spies and infiltrators. They're going to be feeding information to the movement so that the movement isn't blindsided by an ambush or a sneak attack. And gaining knowledge on where the enemy's supply trains are, where their supplies are being moved, when are they being moved, what is being moved. That is vital. You can take out an enemy's supplies, oh yeah, you're going to hurt them. And this isn't sustained, I'm not looking at sustained, face-to-face conventional warfare. I'm talking about guerrilla actions, hit and run, ambushes, light fighting. Like I talked about in the Minuteman video. Hit and run, all through the mountains at full speed until you get back to somewhere, rally up, then split up, move on to somewhere else, then split up again, move on to somewhere else, taking different directions each time, staying hidden each time, making sure you're not followed all the time, be aware of your surroundings, head on a swivel, all that kind of stuff. Because clandestine operations require just that, being clandestine, which means not seen. So there's probably some other roles also I didn't think about for this video, but take this to heart. Think about any other roles you might be able to fill that you think could be vital or important to the movement, if it becomes necessary, and start preparing yourselves to fulfill those roles, just like I called out to the Minutemen for them to start preparing themselves. Hopefully they've already been doing so, but if not, whether you're a Minuteman, whether you're a warrior or a support personnel, do everything you can now. Be as highly trained and as effective at performing that role as you possibly can now, as soon as possible. Because if something does go down in November, we don't have much time to get ready for it. And if someone doesn't, great, I'll be very happy, very happy. I will not think of all the busting butt of working out, increasing my physical capabilities, my training. I will never think of that as a waste, because I will just be a better person for it anyway. Same with prepping. If I prep and do all this stuff and nothing ever happens, so be it. I enjoyed the journey, and that's part of it. I always say make prepping fun. If you don't enjoy the journey, I don't know, find a way to make it fun. Anyway, I think that gets the point across, and I hope that you people, or the people out there that are watching this video that are in that don't have the ability or desire, whatever it may be, to be a warrior, boots on the ground, do not feel like you're less than. You're not. An army cannot fight without the support roles. They won't. They'll just get wiped out and everybody will be dead. And that's not a good thing. It's people in the rear with the gear that are taking care of the guys up front. Have a wonderful day. Prep a little bit day, and blessings to you and yours.